right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Remember, you can jump into this conversation as well. This is the pro-HPV vaccination. This is a team that is against it. 22422 is the SMS line. At Trevor Mbija, at Wega Moura, at Citizen TV Kenya. Hashtag Daybreak. We'll sample some of your views. In fact, let's have your questions answered right now. And I'll start with Dr. Gidinji. There's a question from, was it Jagi, talking about the issue of the boy child being left behind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jagi, I'll say, and also to all the boy children out there, hatuwezi wasahau, hatuwezi wawacha nyuma, hamtabaki nyuma. And as Daktari had described earlier, that the rollout has started because right now it is a resource setting that is creating this scenario where they're starting with the girls, but there are other countries that are already doing girls and boys, so the boys eventually are going to also get the rollout as well. But also, even as we continue with the girls, when the incidence begins to go down, because of herd immunity, which Dr. had also talked about, also the boys are going to benefit as a result. Trials are already there. There's someone who said about trials. Trials already exist. We had already talked about them. And with issues of sensitization, there are many things that we can do. We have social media platforms, just social media spaces. We have all these places where we engage, because you'll go Google and you'll find all manner of things. We have many stakeholders and many bodies that have been mandated in this country that we can trust. The same way we trust taking a 6-week-old baby for immunization. If you trust that same body, and it's the same body that is still rolling out this vaccine, how do you select your trust? You're subjecting this very tiny baby to the pertussis vaccines and all the other vaccines, and not this one. So we think we need to be in that collective space as a nation where we need to actually just debunk the myths, stick with the facts, have a collective conversation, and move forward. Okay. So we are able to also, and for the parents who also are still feeling they don't have, still enough information, go to your doctor. I always maintain, even on my Dr. Romta platform, go to hospital, sit with your doctor, discuss the pros and cons, tell them everything you've seen everywhere. Discuss even that you're confused or you're unsure. Discuss the evidence, break down the science, arrive at an informed decision so that you can make an informed consent. Okay.
Dr. Shege, there was an issue about whether breast cancer should also be vaccinated. Why the cervical cancer?
Yes, again, I will just remind us that the leading cause of cervical cancer is an infection, HPV. Breast cancer is not caused by infection. So that is why we do not have a vaccine against breast cancer. And then again, to still, because I'm Dr. Watoto, I will also remind us that this vaccine, I know there are very many fears that are we licensing our children to go out there and just be promiscuous. I sit in my office and I treat teenagers, I treat preteens, and in this advent of social media, in this advent of very many things, children are having sex. And they're having sexually transmitted illnesses. We take them to church and we preach to them, and they look nice and pretty, but when they come to our offices, they tell us different things. So let us protect our children.
So some of the parents are simply burying their heads in the sand when we say that these children are too young.
They're actually not burying their... Even I have a 10-year-old daughter who I'm going to vaccinate. I am not burying my head in the sand. It is because these children are precious. We breastfed them. They are like little princesses in our eyes. But out there, even the teachers will tell you, they are not all that princess-like, the way we think, and prince-like, not to forget the boy child.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dr. Tabu, you have the bulk of it. There was the issue of sensitization, was the concern whether this is mandatory and whether there's a plan to make it mandatory. There was the issue of the charges as well. And there was also another issue of whether someone can be vaccinated at 28 if they've not been sexually exposed.
Thank you, Trevor. It was the bulk of the questions, but I really do appreciate the level of interest in this particular vaccine. And to me, it's a good thing that we do have an opportunity to engage. I would really say that we're doing a lot as the Ministry of Health, led by our Cabinet Secretary Cecily Karuki, to engage. You've seen how on various platforms really trying to share, leading from the front and sharing this information. Engaging is a process. It is not an event. We have begun in the last few weeks. It will continue, just like for the other routine vaccines. So we should expect a bit more. In this process, we've not walked the journey alone. We've walked the journey with other government ministries, Ministry of Education, for instance, Ministry of Interior, and other state departments. We've walked the journey with our county government colleagues. We've walked the journey with the mainstream religious institutions. We've had significant support and even just advisory opinion in how to approach these issues from the Catholic Church leadership, the Protestant Church leadership, the Muslim colleagues, and so forth. So we continue to engage. The civil society has been leading from the front in terms of advocating from this, the Kenya Cancer Association, amongst others. So we continue to engage and utilize every other platform to share information. So it is coming, and you'll see us more prominently in all platforms as we share these.
So it's not mandatory, that's what you're saying?
No. This is in terms of engagement.
Yes.
So in doing that, our approach is to share as much information as possible to caregivers so that they're then able to make this informed decision to be able to get their girls then vaccinated. We're not going to, the ministry is not standing there to hold you and say, you know, if you don't vaccinate, we will take you to jail or there's this punishment. No, we take an approach of sharing information, empowering our public to be able to make these choices and make the society and public health better for all of us. As we do this again, I'd just like to invite the public to note that we're making decisions about a child. We're making decisions about the child's future. So as we make these decisions, then we need to have consideration that then what decision in terms of to vaccinate or not vaccinate, what decision is in the best interests of the child. This child, according to the Constitution, has a right to a human right, basically a right to healthcare, the best standards of healthcare. So is it in the best interest of the child not to protect them from the cervical cancer later on in life? And even when we make the decision about whether to vaccinate or not vaccinate, remember we're looking at an infectious disease. Our right not to take a particular intervention might actually infringe on the rights of the rest of the community members to protect themselves from these infectious diseases should you choose not to be vaccinated and then later on harbor this disease. And that might be what may roll us back with a few diseases that we seek to eliminate, polio and so forth. So even as we choose to exercise our rights, let us not have our rights to choice infringe on the children's right to better health in future, infringe on our neighbors' rights to be able to protect them from infectious diseases. Number 3, the vaccine is available in all public, faith-based and private health facilities and will be provided through those free of charge.
So there are no charges?
There are no charges to the vaccine. And this is not because someone is now giving us a vaccine for free, no. You'd like to note that the ministry, the government has actually spent about it's costed about 1 billion shillings to actually roll out this vaccine. So yes, the government is taking the cost of the vaccine on behalf of the communities, on behalf of the Kenyans, to just be able to allow them to access this vaccine. So it's not free, it's actually very expensive, but it will be available in every health facility to all 10-year-old girls now, and the subsequent years as girls become 10 years, they'll actually get vaccines. Anytime you can walk to that health facility and get a vaccine.
I'm running out of time here, but there's a question about 28 years. If she hasn't been exposed, can she be vaccinated?
Yes, even a 28-year-old would benefit from this vaccine. It's just that for now we are rolling it out to 10 years old, but the 28-year-old might be able to access the vaccine through the private sector or through other means. It is readily available. There was a question about this being a conspiracy against African countries. I just like to note that African countries are actually late on coming on the stage. As we stand today, we have 115 countries having introduced the vaccine and routine immunization programs within the world.
So we're late to the party.
We're late. 97% of those countries are actually in Europe. Only 16 countries are in Africa. So then I wonder, would I really call this a conspiracy against the Africans?
No. If
in that
anything,
context.
we are late to the party.
We are late to the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have leave it there. That's Dr. Collins Tabu, Head of Immunization and Vaccines Program, the Ministry of Health, Dr. Christine Chege, Pediatrician, Asante Sana, and Dr. Janet Githinji, Consultant Obstetrician and Gynecology. gynecologist. I'm really struggling with that one. The Daktari wa mtaa.
Yes.
We'll go with that. Thank you so much for making time.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the feedback. We're going to read some of them right now. Remember, this is the team that is pro HPV vaccination. There's a team that is against it. They'll be speaking to Waiga Mwaura in just a bit. But let's see what you're saying on social media real quick before we wind up. Salima says, ask the experts about antioxidant supplements. According to my knowledge, they are believed to fight any kind of cancer cells, or simply they help make the cancer cells inactive. Is that true? Dr. Tabu, just yes or no? Antioxidant supplements. According to her knowledge, they are believed to fight any kind of cancer cells.
Well, they may help, they're not it's not the magic bullet.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's see what else is coming through. Castle says, though it's a good idea, but what follows, you're actually building confidence in girl child to be in the field, quote unquote. I think basic education towards such is the best approach, starting from schools and even conducting seminars. All right, let's see. Doric says, thank you for the eye opener. I agree with these experts. When we put a phase to the 10% to develop the cancer, we start to appreciate more this intervention. Kenya, let's be bold. Let's see what else you're saying here. I think it's on 22422. That's our SMS line. Just tell us your name and where you're texting from, like Onyiso from Kamiti Corner. Says, what will happen to a girl under 10 years if she is scanned and found with the cancer cells? Would she be also given the vaccine? Yes or no? But that is very unlikely. Let's go back to that question. What will happen to a girl under 10 years if she is scanned and found with the cancer cells? Would she be also given the vaccine?
It wouldn't happen really, because remember that HPV gives rise to cancer after 15 years. So 10 minus 15, this girl would be minus 5. Okay. So it wouldn't happen.
She would not exist. Let's see what else is going through. Koruko says, can the panel demystify belief that the vaccines are associated with autism?
They are not associated with autism.
They're not.
Not at all.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. That's it. All right. Thank you so much for all the feedback and all the questions. The next team comes in with Waiga Mwaura in just a bit, and they'll also debunk the theories of why they think this HPV vaccination is not right. At the end of it all, you decide. See you in just a bit.